So, in preparation for Hyundai or whatever the name of the hurricane is, it looks like we're not going to get it that bad up here in southern Maine. We're looking at sustained winds of 10 to 20 miles an hour with possible, higher gusts. There might be a little bit of storm surge, but I don't suspect very much. When there's a storm surge, I couldn't find any proof of this, but I heard a long time ago from a wise man that during storm surges, they go around the islands and they stop at the mainland. So that's where they build up on the mainland. I mean, obviously on the islands, there would be, large swells and waves. And of course, some kind of elevation, in the tide and stuff. The thing about Maine is, as long as the worst part of the storm doesn't hit at high tide, it's not as bad for, whatever goes on. But typically, I've noticed over the last few years, I've been kind of studying the weather and the storms and stuff. And it seems like the big storms pretty much only come at like the highest tides for some reason. So I don't know if there's a correlation of that or not. So anyway, I'm getting prepped up for the storm here, just in case it, gets bigger for some reason. The storm's been downplayed, but just in case it gets upplayed, I finished painting my tools, red, white, and blue, all American, even though they're probably made in China. I'm gonna roll these tables up in the shelter here before I go to bed. I just want to get a video before it gets dark, but basically I've completely cleaned off the beach here for any kind of, wind or elevated tides. I got my boat up above what the high water mark was yesterday. It's going to be a little bit higher today. But again, I am also chained to my mooring, and I also have a stern anchor out. So if the boat does go afloat, it's got double protection. The 2 points of the island, I've been collecting wood. I ended up getting those picked up today. I should have made a video, but earlier I was just, so about getting the shelter done. I've done some more supports and tightened up some loose ends. I'll make a video when it's lighter out, but if you can see those rocks right on the edge of the point there, let me try to zoom in. Those rocks right there with the birds on them. On the other side of it, there was actually a pretty big hardwood branch or tree there that I actually could not pick up. I had to cut it in half to get it over here. So that's pretty exciting. So this is the approximate northeast side where the wind comes from, kind of this direction. We're on the verge of Henri, not to be confused with Henri, making landfall in southern New England. We are going to experiencing some bands of heavy rain and some gusty winds, but not super gusty. Sustained winds will be around 10 to 20, so I suspect gusts will probably be up around 35. Like I said yesterday, I really just kind of like packed up everything just to make sure I got my boat on land and stuff, just to be safe. This is the we're about 20 minutes away from high tide. The high tide today is around a little less than 10 feet. It's like 9.8 or something. So I just kind of want to do a walk around the island, just to kind of show, any kind of erosion that happens, during the storm. Obviously, the worst erosion would be done at high tide, which is like right now, but obviously the storm's not here, so I'm more concerned about the high tide around midnight tonight, because that's when we should be, definitely getting those, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds and possible higher gusts. I don't think I've ever done a full walk around the island. Let's say I started walking at about a minute, so we're 42 seconds into it. little tide pools make great warm little, you know, spots for the kids at low tide when the sun hits them and they all warm up and stuff. I didn't pull my ladder up, which I do that in the winter. I did tie it off to a bush. I didn't tie it up to one of my trees. I don't want to, you know, if the ladder moves around, I don't want any, you know, damage done to the tree from the rubbing of the rope. So it's tied off to a sumac bush. But like last year, this used to all be sand through here. Coming around the corner, the wind's gonna be stronger because the little place we have set up, it's protected by the wind. We had those 11-foot tides, the water was literally up to here, so I wouldn't be able to walk around the island in sneakers like I am today. As you can see, there's a huge difference in the wind between it's called the lee of the land, when the island or the land mass protects you from the wind. So now we are not in the lee of the land, and the wind is definitely starting to pick up here. We're gonna have a lot of seaweed that floats up on this side of the island over this storm, which is pretty exciting because now that the garden shed tree fort's pretty much finished, I'm gonna have time for the next I got about a little over 2 weeks left, and I'm going to start spending some time on the rest of the island here, trying to get more stuff done. That's actually a natural poplar tree there that just came out of nowhere, along with some other ones too. But oh yeah, the wind's definitely picking up, so pretty exciting. Not to be distracted, but there's more trash in the ocean. You wouldn't believe the amount of trash I've found. You know, I found people, they'll piss in a water bottle and throw it overboard. They'll just be, you know, all kinds of empty water bottles to begin with. I found 2 empty glass liquor bottles, which are absolutely horrible for people to throw in because they might break along the shore, and then all of a sudden there's all kinds of broken glass, and you know, we got, you know, me and children walking around here with, you know, no shoes on because it's a beach, and then all of a sudden there's like broken glass that we didn't know about. Not cool. All this vegetation right here is actually it's sea lavender. It's semi-protected. Basically, if anybody wants to come onto our private land and either cut this or dig it up, you need written permission by the landowner by law. That clump of dirt up on top of that rock, that's natural. That's been there ever since we got the island, but there used to be actually like vegetation really growing on it. It never was just like a dirt pile. So last year, actually I think 2 years ago was when it really got beat up bad. It'd be kind of cool to put some rocks around it and maybe like you know, some seaweed or something, see if we can't get some stuff growing up there. But it's basically a lost cause, you know, so close to the ocean like that. But it'd be kind of fun just to mess around with it. Tons of seaweed. Baby loves going for walks around the island. This is the spot where Midway connects to the top of the island here. You can see the down brush and stuff right there. That's the pathway that goes up to the top of the island where all the trees and stuff are. We're getting close to the point here. This side of the island is pretty fortified with these huge rocks that are just everywhere. All this beautiful sand wasn't here last year. This was all rocks through here, so I'm kind of curious to see what happens during this storm if this gets moved around some. Here we are at the point. I would walk to there and do a back shot, but I got my sneakers on and it's really not that warm out today, so I'm probably not going to. I'll get a shot from the rock at low tide around and stuff. Pretty good, but there's all that beautiful sand. There's actually some rocks exposed right here that I don't think were here a couple yesterday. For that matter, you can see a bit of erosion there. So that's one of the reasons why I want to make sure I got this video today, to make sure that, you know, so we can document any kind of beach movement or erosion or any other thing that happens. But you know, here we are back to the beach, so pretty exciting. And now we're back to camp. But I just want to kind of just do a little Hernande is still quite a bit south of us. We didn't really get much, just some 10 to 20 winds yesterday. Gusts were maybe, I don't know, my dad got a new app, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like 21 or 22 miles per hour out here. I did put the flag back up today, you know, I like to represent. So here's my levee I've been working on. It does connect down there. I'm working on dumping my first layer of sand down. I'm going to do more seaweed and more sand, so I'm trying to get the first layer of sand finished today and work on my retaining wall, and then we'll see how much seaweed floats up in the next few days about getting that done. I don't want to just rush all the sand out of there and make a gigantic pile and then have a pile of seaweed everywhere. You know, I'd rather try to dump on top of it. Seems like a good, you know, good way to get it done. My boat's still up on land. I did bail it out today. We are expected to have tropical downpours tonight. I'm not honestly sure how much of it's going to miss me, but tomorrow I'll try to get my, you know, try to find some help to pull my boat back in the water.